We are now on to week 3 in the Big Brother house, and I think this is going to be a good one. There's a new HOH in the house and a new Blindside in the works already. There is a lot to get into today, but before we start, make sure you hit the subscribe button below just so you can stay tuned, as I will be doing live feed recaps all season long. And also make sure you check out my last video if you have not already, just so you can stay tuned. Now, let's get started. So, as we saw in Thursday's episode, Reilly was just evicted in a unanimous vote. She did fight hard until the bitter end, but unfortunately, she was just a little bit too all over the place for people to really want to work with her. Apparently, right before the eviction, Jag tried to do some last-minute scheming to try to save Reilly, but he ended up getting caught up, which is going to put him in danger later, but we'll get to that part. After the eviction, the house guests go off to compete in the next HOH, which of course we don't see. But when the feeds come back on, we discover that Felicia is our new HOH. Now, this HOH appeared to be one of those crapshoot type competitions, which is great because it really allows for people of various skill levels to have a fair shot at winning. Now, even though this is Miss Felicia's HOH, trust that Cirie is really going to be the one pulling the strings here. But Cirie has this calm and charismatic sort of demeanor to her. It's just, the truth of the matter is, she doesn't come across as bossy or pompous like some people do. Right? Felicia initially wants to nominate Jag and Blue since they are the predictable duo. However, Cirie is going to push for Cameron to go up on the block instead.
Listen to this. What I'm thinking is we put up Jag because he deserves it, and we put up Cameron. Now, the only reason we don't put up Blue is because we don't want to keep knocking the women out of this thing, right? Cameron is going to fight like hell to win the veto because he's been up this week, and he's going to be up. He was on last week, and if Cameron comes down and he got that veto, guess who goes up? Hyson. Exactly.
With just that one conversation, Felicia has now completely rerouted and is down to nominate Jag and Cameron. But make no mistake, people are still very much pissed at Hisam, and the plan to backdoor him is still very much a go. On top of that, Felicia is 1000% down to be the one to make that fatal move.
If and when Cam wins it, and he takes himself down, we're going to put Hyson on.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're going to end up with an 11-0 vote.
Hyson out of this vote.
On your HOH? That will be that'll be world. That's a world champion move.
I was just saying that's like...
That's like as in...
Just a winning move. Like, that's it.
Like hello.
Winning move.
God damn.
I am living for this plan. It's bittersweet though, because even though Hisam can be a jerk, he is still pretty entertaining to watch, and he is such a funny villain. But still, if Felicia, the oldest person in the house, the one they counted out, if she could take out Comp King Hisam, I would be so proud. That is a game-winning resume move right there, and she knows it.
And I'm getting ready to make the biggest move of the season. Biggest move of the season. We're going to backdoor Hisam and put out the next biggest target in the house. Shit. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. Just watch and see.
I do still think that it's a little bit early for the professors to be turning on Hisam, but his behavior as HOH really made everybody dislike him, and his comp ability isn't really helping his case. Cameron is a good backup target because no one really trusts him, therefore he can really go at any time. And Jag is a target because he's on the other side of the house for one, and for two, apparently he tried to pull off this elaborate lie to try to save Reilly at the last minute.
He came up to me and he's like, they said yes. I was like, who? He said, we talked to Cirie, Izzy, Felicia, they said yes. Like they're on. He said, you can go, and he said, no, he said, you can go ask them if you want. But there was no time. You know, everyone was in the scattered living room, whatever.
He knew that. That's why he did that. He figured we wouldn't have time to talk.
Hopefully we'll hear more details about this in the next episode, though. We shall see. So Felicia is going to go off to do her one-on-ones, and they are pretty much the exact opposite of Hisam's. She's super casual and nonchalant. Nobody really feels threatened when they talk to her. At this point, pretty much the entire house is down to get Hisam out, So Felicia is pretty much able to explain her backdoor plan to everybody in the house, no matter what side they're on. Well, except for Red. Red is really being left out of everything right now. Not looking good for him. Now, normally telling everybody would be a risky move, but as long as his veto gets used, I don't really see anybody tipping off Hisam. Felicia is gonna sit down with Cameron to go over her plan and to let him know that he's a pawn.
So what I like to do, and I need you to trust me. I know. I want you to be the pawn because I want you to be the one to win the power of veto. Trust me, if you don't come down, Jag is my target, our target, because everybody knows what Jag did. So we're going to take out Jag if we can't get to Hisam. But I figure you have the best chance of winning the power of veto, removing yourself, and we're going to backdoor his ass and blow him up.
Obviously, he isn't super excited to go back on the block, but he is kind of excited to be part of the plan to get Hisam out, so hey, there's something. She's also gonna sit down with Jag to let him know that he's a pawn. He's also gonna push back a little bit in this convo, but at the end of the day, he's a sitting duck and there's nothing he can really do about it.
So can I ask you how you got to the decision of putting me up next to Cam?
Because
I know there's other
Hison's
folks as
very
well.
smart.
Yeah.
And if we don't put up somebody that was aligned with Reilly, that's a red flag for him. It's going to be a red flag to Hisam.
Really?
I need him to be comfortable. We need him to be so comfortable this week that he does not play to win that veto, even if he gets picked.
They're also going to talk about forming this alliance that includes Felicia's closest allies plus Jag's.
Blue, Jag, Matt, Jared, me, her, and Izzy. And she said, look, with Jared, obviously he's right there in the middle, but they would never expect.
Like, at the end of the day, only one person can win the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I want to rock with the squad that, like, I would be proud fighting for.
But this isn't really a real alliance. I think Cirie and Felicia are just using them to cover their bases here. However, Jag is super excited about this alliance and thinks it's totally legit, so we'll see how that goes. I think the best part of this plan is that Hisam does not see this coming at all, which is why I think it was a really smart idea for them to go ahead and evict Reilly. Hisam is actually probably the most excited that Felicia won.
Could it be any better? Right? Could it be any better? And I know that she will be really smart, right? And she will sort out all of the information that is missing, right? Because she doesn't give a fuck, right? So she's just like, Reilly, who's your allies? She doesn't care. So she'll just say whatever she wants to say, right? And people will sit there and basically be like, she will like take them to task, right?
Y'all, if this Blindside gets pulled off, it's going to be huge. The feeds went off for nominations on Friday, and when they came back on, we saw that Cameron and Jag were indeed put on the block. Now, obviously, these two aren't super comfortable right now, but Hisam is, which is the important part. They are hoping that Hisam won't play in this veto at all, and if he does, they are hoping that he's just gonna throw it. So keeping him calm is very important. So of course, I wanna know, how do you all feel about Felicia as our HOH? Are you excited to see her reign, or would you rather have someone as HOH instead? Also, what do you think of her plan to blindside Hisam? Do you think it's a good move for her game or a bad one? Let me know in the comments below. Like I said, I do think the blindside is a little bit too early for me. I think Hisam is a great shield to have in front of you in the game, so I would want my enemies to take him out for me. Once again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below if you have not already, just so you can stay tuned as we roll through this wonderful season. Of course, I'll be back to update you all if anything else big happens, but until next time, peace.